All right, so we're going to run through multi-race bundles this morning, just so you know who I am. I'm Eric Cohn. I'm a vice president with RunSignup, and I like to solve really complex problems for race organizations. So if you have a complex problem, I am probably the guy that you want to talk to. And I love to write a lot of very complex tickets for our developers with sometimes even the code to fix the problem. We're going to jump right in. Multi-race bundles. Bundles basically are going to allow you to package two separate races into one registration flow. You can actually combine the questions, the giveaways. You can create different pricing structures. The idea is that you've already spent a fair amount of money marketing-wise to get people to your race. And what better way to upsell than to provide them a quick opportunity to purchase other races at that same time. So I'm going to show you the two different ways that we do that. For the most part, we cover these primary reasons and uses of multi-race bundles. So challenges across multiple races. So Corrigan runs a whole bunch of different challenges. If you have not heard of their challenges, they're pretty well known. They run a King Crab challenge and a Maryland Double challenge and about 50 other versions of challenges. Prior to the bundles and how they worked, they used to, on even our own platform 2 years ago, would create an individual event and then have to copy that data across to all the different events that those people registered for. So with multi-race bundles, you set it up with every single event and you more or less package them into a bundle and say, hey, I want them to sign up for the King Crab Challenge. And with the challenge, they actually are sort of a combination of a series challenge because they get to select what distance they're going to do in each of the individual race weekends. So they say, hey, I want them to be able to select one of the events from the Baltimore Running Festival and the Frederick Running Festival. And they say these are the two events that they're allowed to select from because Baltimore actually has 5 events, I believe. And they can select just one of those two and then one of the two over here on Frederick. So you have the option to say how many events you can select in each race weekend. You can add as many race weekends as you want, and that becomes sort of a race series, if you will. But in their world, it's a challenge. And what the race series, if you have a backyard burn in Northern Virginia, they have a weekend race every weekend for basically the whole spring and the whole fall. A race series, you can define it so that they have to enter all. Or they can select which races in the whole series. And the idea is that you're really just trying to promote all your races to them at one time. When you actually set it up, you actually have the ability to show the bundles during registration for all of the race weekends, or you can just say, hey, I only want to show it in the bundled location. So the primary event or race that you've set it up in. I talked about this a little bit. The benefits of bundles, reduce marketing cost. So when you think about it, you're like, all right, I'm already spending, let's say, $5 to $10 to try and acquire a participant to my race. Well, if you can get them to sign up for 2 races, that $5 to $10 gets split across 2 races, and your cost per acquisition has effectively dropped in half. If you do a whole series and you get them to sign up for all of them, it drops across the whole series. You've marketed one time and they've signed up for 5 races. If it's a $5 cost to get them there, it's now a $1 cost to get them in all of your events. So the marketing is a huge part of it. Better data management. I talked about it a little bit with Corrigan. In the past, whether it was Race It, Active, even RunSignup 2 years ago, you had individual setups for these bundles and it was a headache. You had to copy the data into an Excel file, import that Excel file into every single race. You could screw that up easily. I mean, it happens all the time. So with bundles, as I said, when they register, the second that they register, the data is split and duplicated effectively at time of registration. So now there's an individual registration record and every single event that they signed up for at the time of the bundle. Okay? Those individual records, they're able to take action on. So if they go into the first 5K of the series, they can go in and defer. They can transfer. They can edit that record. All of that is in an individual record that will not affect the other 5 that they may have signed up for. Okay? There is no bundle management for participants. They cannot go into that bundle and go, hey, I want to defer the whole bundle till next year. They can't go in and say, I want to transfer the bundle to another bundle, just because we haven't built that out and we really haven't had any requests for that. So the idea, though, is that there's individual records. They can still manage those records and defer them. One last benefit is that we do have a fair amount of organizations. There's actually one here that has a joint venture challenge. You do, the Virginia Marathon, and then you do a Maryland Marathon, and you bundle those two together, and Virginia is owned by one organization and Maryland's owned by another. I'm going to actually talk about some of the new things that we're going to be building out in 2020 as well, and one of those is going to solve a lot of the joint venture issues that we have. Joint ventures are a little bit more complex, and when you talk about a joint venture between two organizations, you have to have enough trust and mutual respect between them to actually know that you're going to be sharing data, and you're going to have to share the reporting of the accounting and know that they're not going to steal money and you're not going to steal money. So there is some downside to that right now, but we're at least capable of handling the data transfers of people that sign up for those. All right, why our bundles? Talked about it. No need to import data. Okay. The accounting is actually pretty darn nice in that you can trace the funds to know that someone signed up for this bundle, and it breaks out cash flow positive from one race to another and negative from the other race to the current one. So you can see in the accounting reports where the flow of funds is going to happen and how it happened. Again, that is a big thing that we're working on in 2020. I expect Q2 to have that actually change, where you would see the accounting report, but guess what? The magic is actually going to have the money deposited directly into those races. So that is our goal for 2020. So at time of transaction, right now, the flow of funds happens to go into the race that they signed up for. So if the primary race, they come in on A and they sign up for the bundle via A, the money is in the race A. Race B says, hey, you owe me $50. Right? And both organizations or both races would show in the multi-race bundle reporting that there is a $50 amount that is owed from A to B. At least there's really good detailed reporting right now. The goal in Q2 is to actually have it so that that $50 is already in race B, and that you would know on the race B side that race A was the reason why it got there. One other big benefit is participants only answer questions one time if you would like. So t-shirt question, they can go in and ask one giveaway question of what's your t-shirt size. You don't have 5 if you're signing up for 5 races. When you think about that, it is a combining of all of those questions that are asked so many times over and over again. So you can actually combine all of those into one registration flow, and it almost looks like they're signing up for one race. They can go in and edit each individual one of those race shirts. So let's say they go through the spring and they've lost weight or they've gained weight or whatever, and they are now 2 months later, they're like, you know what? I want to get a large, or hey, you know what? I've got so many of these shirts. I want to give one to my wife. I'm going to go and get a small. They can go in and do that at any time if you allow them to with participant management. The biggest upside that I see from data is bib assignments and corral assignments. Those can still be automated. You still can allow, when you're getting an individual registration record for each of those races, for each of those participants, now all of a sudden you can still assign one unique bib number for this 5K and a totally different bib number for this 5K and not screw up either. Right? So the records are completely isolated, and it allows bib assignments and corral assignments to be very clean. There's new ways to market older offerings. So if you have a whole bunch of races and you've never offered any bundling, do it. It is an easy win. Now all of a sudden they have ways, and we have really cool, nice, clean ways to highlight these bundles so that they go, oh, wow, I'm getting $5 off on signing up for 2 races. you can highlight the bundles really easily. So with the event display offerings, you have new ways of forming partnerships as well. So even if you have an individual race and you're like, you know what, I have my individual race, I don't have any others, why do I need to know about multi-race bundles? Well, in the back, Tammy has a phenomenal turkey trot. She can either choose to do bundles with her other turkey trots that she helps with, and it's called the Drumstick Dash, I know that. And she has some other sister events that offer the same Drumstick Dash branding to. Or she can go to her other local large race operators like the 500 Festival, who is potentially coming on board as well, and go, hey, you know what? Let's do a spring-fall bundle. And now all of a sudden, the people that love the mini 500 half marathon can also sign up at the exact same time for the Drumstick Dash. That's completely possible on this platform. Yes?
How does it work if your registration is already open? Like, for instance, we have two races that I think would be great to bundle together to run this spring. One is in the fall. And registration is already open for all three of them.
Yeah.
How does that, like, what happens? I don't want somebody saying, well, I signed up for one and now you're offering these three.
That's going to happen. Yeah, sadly, that's going to happen no matter what. The way that, like, if I were a race management company and someone complained about that, I'd be like, we didn't have the bundles before. We didn't know about it. We now have it. If you're really concerned about customer service, you give them the $5 discount code or whatever it is that is a price variable on that, right? Because those are the most loyal participants. They're already eager to do all three of your races. You sort of want them to come back next year. So you may just go, hey, you know what? If you didn't have that opportunity, we're going to create these bundles. That's the way I would approach it. But I'm very much customer service type of guy.
You can also email your customers that already signed up, let them know you're opening a bundle, and if they want to sign up, reach out and open the code too.
And then another thing that you can do is if a race does happen, and this is part of how bundles work, is that you can still create a bundle that is minus one of the races that happen. So you can set up as many bundles as you'd like, and then from there, as races happen, you reconfigure that individual bundle to be one less race each time that a race happens. So, is there another question?
You just answered my question.
Got it.
You create multiple.
You can set up as many bundles as you'd like, and the way that bundles are set up is they're in the individual race. There's a primary race for the bundle, okay? And then from there, you configure it to add as many races as you'd like into each bundle. So this was actually July that I pulled these numbers. I didn't have a chance to actually re-pull the numbers, but as of right now, 3.2 races per transaction happen through bundles. So that gives you an idea. We launched this effectively 1 year ago, and within the first 6 months, we had 53,000 people register through bundles. Ben is here from Orca. I'm not sure if he's in the room, but Porter is a great client of ours. Porter always ran this bundle and save. He had the headache first couple of years transferring all that data in. So we built this for organizations like Orca, and I'm sure a lot of you that do crazy challenges or series. And the idea is that we're trying to save you a heck of a lot of time because now the participant is literally creating the data for you. There is upside for the participants as well. So one of the things that I didn't mention, if you're not aware, our pricing is based on per transaction. So if you bundle 3 races together, that traditionally bumps the price point up and they pay less because as you go up in price, our prices go down. So there are benefits to the participant as well. I know it's maybe $1 or something like that, but in the end, they're already getting a savings from us. You guys are getting a savings on the importing and managing of data. They're getting a savings of not having to register for 3 times. So there is a lot of little minor upsides to the participants. You guys can then do bundle and save and offer all sorts of unique pricing and magical bundles if you would like. All right, so multi-race bundles. This is an example. Hopefully you guys can see it. This is the BFD with King Crab Challenge. They call it the big freaking deal. Okay. And as you can see real quick, they have the Baltimore Running Festival pick one of 3 events. The Delaware Running Festival, pick one of 3 events so you can actually see the individual events that they allow. Okay. Then the Frederick, pick one of 2, and then required, there's only one event in the Baltimore 10 miler, which is the 10 miler. So this is an example of the Corrigan King Crab BFD challenge. You have the ability to configure more or less everything just like this, and you can go in and see the participants as well that have signed up for this. This screen is if you were to hit multi-race bundles and you add a bundle, you would then configure a bundle, and this would be the bundle UI.
Within a race, or you've created a new race just for the bundle?
You have the option to do either. Okay? So the way that Corrigan does it is, I'm pretty sure they put all their bundles in the Baltimore Running Festival, which is the last one, and they just know that's where we go to manage our bundles. Okay? So all you do is you're just going to create, either you can create an individual bundle race, which is like the bundle race, and that can be the landing page. So in Indianapolis, Jed has the Indython, right? So Jed and Indianapolis could go in and create an Indython bundle race. And you can set it as only allow them to register through the primary race. So then when people are signing up, they have to go through the Indython reg flow to sign up for the bundle. Or you can leave that unchecked, and now they could show up at any of these 4 races and see the bundle. Okay? So there's 2 options there that you have the ability to go and say, hey, I want to show it up on all of these. Why? Because I want to upside. I want them to sign up for the bundle. I want them to sign up for the bigger package, right? Or you can go, you know what? This is pretty exclusive. I want to treat it as a really cool package, and I'm going to create a website for it like Jed did for Indython, and that's how they get in. Yes?
Can you make a unique landing page for the whole series?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. With the Indython,
I know they do it that way without making that have to go through the primary event. But if you didn't do it that way, is there a way? I know we were talking about web pages yesterday, or Bob was, but I know you've got the series option, I guess you still do, where that kind of lands on a page that's unique to the series.
So when you create, let's use the Indython as an example. You create an Indython race. At that point, you could do, I think they own Indython.com, right? Or Indython.org, one of the 2. So you can take that domain name and launch your own branded bundle website for the bundle. They come in and all they see is the bundle. It is all about sign up for the 3 races in Indianapolis. I think it's 3, and they sign up for that bundle, and all they see is the bundle at that point in time. Okay. Now, in our solution, you do have the ability to sort of work around and go, hey, I want to actually highlight each of those individual races as well. So you have some workarounds that you can present those, so then they could actually jump off and go to the Beyond Monumental Marathon if you wanted to do that. But the idea is that you can create a bundled race website that shows off only the bundle. Yes, Ron?
We have a series that starts in April, and one in August, and one in December. And let's say we set up this bundle prior to the first race.
Yep.
People can sign up for all 3. Well, what happens with us, and I'm sure everybody else is, people aren't sure they're going to be available for number 2 and number 3, so they may sign up for the second race in August. In May, will that automatically enter those people into the bundle?
Nope. So just really quickly, it's a great question. The question is basically, hey, someone signs up for race 1 in your series, and then they decide after race 1 that they want to get into race 2 and 3. So what you would actually use, bundling is only for registration purposes. It's not really for reporting of who's in your series, okay? So a bundle is to get people in. It's for marketing purposes. It's for data management purposes of going, I want this data to be clean and I don't want to have to migrate data from one race to another, okay? So the short answer is no. The long answer is you would still have a bundle for the 2 races that they haven't entered, and they could enter the bundle that way, and then they would be in all 3. The reporting answer on that is we're about 1 to 2 weeks away on our CRM And I will do a weblog to show you how, probably even a video of how to report on that, right? And the idea is that the CRM sort of knows, hey, they entered these 3 races. They did it through the bundle or they didn't do it through the bundle. We don't care. We need to know who's in all 3, right? So that's what the CRM is going to manage for you, right?
I have a question about the financials. You said it was basically broken apart by race. If you don't designate a primary race, do the funds then get attributed
to the race that they entered in?
individual one?
So real quick, this is a good example. The Indython one is very clear. They came in through the Indython, you set up a race, it is your bundle race, all the money goes in there, even though they're signing up for 3 different races. You then get a report that says, this amount is owed to this race, and this race, right? Very clean, it goes into the bundled bank account, right? In this scenario, they can sign up at any one of these 4 races. So what you really have is T accounting that is, they signed up at Baltimore, there's -3 entries, +3 entries. They sign up at Frederick, there's -3 entries and +3 entries. So yes, it is a pain, and that's why what we tend to do is say, hey, put all your bundles in one of them, so you can only go there and run one set of reports.
If you have different event owners, now everybody has to reconcile between everybody instead of just
Yes.
reconciling.
So if you have a whole bunch of different event owners, I honestly, it might be worth just waiting until Q2 of this year, because what happens in Q2 is they sign up at Frederick and we say they came through the bundle, but the money is 1, 2, 3, 4 bank accounts. That's the big goal for us Q2.
Could you go a little bit into more detail on how to connect to organizations? I think that would be really helpful. I put on a lot of kids races,
Mm-hmm.
and if I were to network with the other kids triathlons, and have one-stop shop to sign up for all the kids races in our state,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty sweet.
Yep. So
It's a brilliant marketing scheme by you guys as well. I'm thinking about it because there's one race that doesn't have run sign up, but I could be if you join this, we can.
who is that? Dan's
support.
territory? Do I get credit for helping to land?
It is really smart, right? Because
Yeah. No,
you're going to be off the wagon.
I mean, when you look at it, the truth be told is, yes, that is part of it. But really, when we built this, the intention was not for joint ventures.
I imagine
It was
that.
for Corrigan. Corrigan came to us and they were like, "This is such a data headache," and they're only one. I mean, there's probably 10 organizations in here that have the headache of managing bundles that they already had. So to answer your question on joint ventures, she sort of asked it. I would almost consider waiting until, since you're in Alaska, correct? Mm-hmm. Right? It might be hard to pull off this year. And the reason is that joint ventures in the current world, if you don't have great business and personal relationships with these people, the flow of funds is literally going to go to their bank account potentially for your money, right? And therefore, you're going to have to wait for them. Now, if you're really concerned about it, you can set up a bundle like the Indython that I was talking about, and that is going to have its own bank account. And then you could go to the bank and go, hey, we want an escrow bank account, but it's for an LLC that everyone owns. And therefore, the money is commingled in one bank account, but everyone has access to it. All right, that would be one other way.
So we have 3 independent races that we're working together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to give permission to at least look, not financial, but look at the information? Because the first race has to do it, because they come up Mother's Day, so it's early. We can't wait to Q2.
No, they
Is there permission so we can look without having to get reports from
Yes.
the first race?
Yes. So the accounting reports are visible because it's T accounting. Okay. So if you go into any of those 4 races for Corrigan, you can go to multi-race reporting and it's going to show you what's owed to this race and what this race owes to others. Okay. It's pretty much inverted to the other races. Does that make sense? Because I owe Frederick $100. If I go to Frederick sees a negative owing from Baltimore, right? So that's T accounting. So you can do that now. That's all available. So when you say, hey, we want to do this joint venture, that's completely possible right now. You just have a report, and everyone has to be very apparent with, we're going to go off of what RunSignup says in our accounting. You owe me $100 and I owe you 50. Net
So
50.
if there's like three organizations, you just understand that one person of the three organizations is going to kind of run this.
Yeah, that would be the easiest.
Writing the checks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you just split it 3 ways.
Yeah, just so you're aware, you have to have every single race with its own registration flow. That has to happen, right? And the bundle, all that's doing is merging those three. And you have two options. You can create a bundle race that is like the bundle, or you can set it up in one of those three, and then it shows in all three. So this is really as simple as it gets. You're going to create a new race, multi-race bundle, give it a name, primary race, require participants to register through the primary race. So that's the Indython example, okay? So now all of a sudden you check this off, and the only place that the bundle is going to show is that primary race, wherever you're setting up this bundle, okay? When you have it as a primary race and it's the Indython, you technically have to sign up for the Indython. So there is this shell race that they get nothing. It is the bundle, right? Costs them nothing. It's just a shell race. So when you go and set that up, you got to realize it's +1 because it is the bundle, right? Otherwise, it's very simple. Availability, start and end dates for the bundle. This is an example of how you've now created the bundle and you said it's available this date to this date, okay? This is where you go in and you say minimum number of races included, maximum number of races included, select the races that you want, so go in, select them, and then the applicable events that you want them to be able to select, okay? You then also have, if the primary race is not selected, you then also have the display option. Do you want it at the top? Do you want to highlight it? Or do you want it at the bottom after all your other events? So if it's at the top, it's going to show before all of the 5Ks because it's the 5K bundle, okay? If you have it at the bottom, your 5K is going to be there and then the bundle. It's that simple. Display options. You do have the ability, much like everything else, to put highlights in there. Best offer, whatever you want as a little tag, okay? Pricing. Percentage off, fixed amount. We don't offer anything really crazy yet, but the idea is, hey, if it's percentage, then now all of a sudden you're going to take the prices at the time that they're registering, merge them all together, and you're going to do 5% off. Now all of a sudden it's going to take the total amount that they were to pay for those 3 races, and they're going to pay 95% of it because they get 5% off. Or you can do a fixed amount. And the fixed amount would be, hey, this date to this date, we know the prices are going to be. We're going to put in a hard-coded amount. And that's registration periods. You just put in the date to date, the event fee. You can also do straight-through pricing. Okay? This is the reg flow. So this is how I was saying you can customize the tag. Okay? All 4. So this is all 4 12Ks that they wanted to highlight, and it had custom pricing. All 4 6Ks, and it had custom pricing with strike-through pricing. When they click on it, so they clicked on 12K, this is what it looks like now, right? They do a presentation of Corrigan, but if you had multiple, there would be optional checkboxes or radio buttons in here to select which events, okay? So that's right in here. They select the overall bundle that they want, and then they get to select the 5 races. Now all of a sudden, hit next, merge all those questions for those 5 races, present those, they answer them, and they're at the checkout page. So that's the quick gist of it. There's tons of advanced settings. I'm not going to cover all of them, right? One of the things that is likely going to be, okay, do we support teams? Yes, we support teams. Literally, though, if you think about it, you have 3 races, 3 teams are going to need to be selected. We do highlight this is for race 1, whatever they selected. This is for race 2 or event 2. whatever they select for the team, right? So now all of a sudden, they're going to select 3 different teams. We are not merging the teams because the teams are actually separate per race. So we do support teams. We do support fundraising, right? So you can actually ask for donations and you can set up fundraising. We do support some other things that you may be interested in, like age group based pricing is only at the primary race. So if you set up an Indython, you could do age-based pricing and it would affect the bundle. And same with club-based pricing. So anyway, I'm not covering all of these, but this is your advance so you can merge your giveaway questions, your add-ons, and your bib assignments. You can do bib assignment, just so you're aware, you can assign bib numbers for the bundle participants. So at the time that they register, they're going to get the same bib number across all 3 races. And that's how you do that here. Okay? Any questions?
What are the rules for things like the premium, the add-on, the giveaway? So if we called it a t-shirt, but for one of the races it's a ball cap. How is there mapping to say?
So you map what you want to map. So if it's a premium hat here and a hoodie here and a t-shirt, then you may ask, what do you want for your hoodie size? What do you want for your shirt size? And oh, by the way, you're getting a hat. Right? That's all that, you merge what you can. The idea is that you really are trying to take away their pain of typing.
Yeah.
And that's what you get to do here. All right, some limitations. Quickly. No coupon codes. You can't transfer in and out of the bundle. I had mentioned that at the very beginning. Individuals that transfer out of one race may not qualify for the bundle perks. And right now, you don't have a real way of monitoring that. Give me 1 to 2 weeks. CRM's being worked on. I actually have written a lot of the use cases for the developer to test so that we can actually report on, here's the people, you select the races that you know are in your bundle, and you get a report, and you know who's in the bundle. Whether they signed up via the bundle or they signed up in the individual races. The CRM will be reporting on that very soon because it's been since July that we've had that question. Accounting is not included in the summary report on an individual race. You do have to go to the race bundle setup for the payment reporting on race bundles. Okay? There is a line item in your payment summary report that says other things, including multi-race payments. So you'll start to see money flowing in, and you'll be like, what the heck is this, Eric? That's your multi-race bundles go here. So new and coming soon, I mentioned private events. I mentioned the CRM reporting for challenges and series. Those 2 things, hopefully, the private events is now. You can do that now. The CRM reporting for challenges and series, hopefully in the next 1 to 3 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, somewhere in that time frame. I mean, I was texting the developer yesterday about it because I was like, hey, any chance we could show it today? And he's like, give me a couple more days. I showed a little bit of CRM yesterday. The goal is that you'll be able to run a report, include the races that are in the bundle, and at that point, we can at least tell you the filtered loyalty, meaning they did 2 races, and you would know who are in these 2 races that did 2.
When you say did, you mean register?
Correct. Because perks are registered. Probably later this year, we will be able to deliver checked in as well. Okay. So if you've done bib assignment, we would then be able to go, and that's sort of the Jim's question, which is like, hey, I want to know who's in these 3 races and who checked in for this race, right? And then results will also likely be soon. So then you could actually go, hey, I want to know who did these 3 races and had a finish at all 3.
Yeah, a lot of series and challenges then are determined based on the aggregate times.
So that is series scoring. And we have a whole series scoring platform that I'm not going to get into. Yeah. And you can upload your results, and that will merge those people, and you can do all sorts of series scoring points and stuff like that. Lastly, I've mentioned the accounting will be addressed hopefully by the end of the first half of the year. So by our Summer Symposium. Yes?
Are there any plans to allow coupons on bundles?
Not right now. It's very hot topic. Like, it's just really complex, and I can tell you right now that sales tax just amplified everything complexity-wise to the nth degree. So Let me get the CRM reporting one done, and then I can put more pressure on giving me coupon codes, because there are a lot of people that want coupon codes for it, but we've found some simple workarounds. The other one that we would like to have is reserved entry, and a reserved entry could do the same thing. And the reason why is we have enough people that are like, I need to give my VIPs access for free to the bundle. And we can't do that right now. So, any other questions? Otherwise, thank you. Any questions? Hopefully I covered enough. Hey, really quick, I forgot to tell everyone, loyalty lists are supported. So if you have last year's finishers for the race, you can set up a bundle that only those loyal participants can get into for the first week or two. Corrigan did it for their 20th year of running festival. They only allowed the 20th year participants to get into the bundle at a certain price for a week. So now all of a sudden they had about 100 people that had done the race 20 years in a row that could get in at a specific price point.